Hello, my dear friends. In this tutorial, we will discuss conditional statements. Conditional statements are used to perform different actions based on different conditions. In JavaScript, we have four conditional statements: if statement, if-else statement, if-else if, and switch statement. In the upcoming video, we will discuss the switch statement. Let's start with the if statement. This is the syntax for writing an if statement. The if statement is a basic decision-making tool in programming. It's the simplest way to make choices in your code. You use it to decide whether a particular action or group of actions should happen by checking a condition you specify. You put that condition inside parentheses. The actions you want to take are enclosed in curly braces. If the condition is true, the code inside the curly braces will execute. If the condition is false, those actions will be skipped. Let's understand this with an example. Imagine you have a variable called marks, and you've assigned it a value of 85. Now, using an if statement, you can set a condition within the parentheses. In this case, let's say the condition is that marks should be greater than or equal to 40. After the if statement, you can use console.log to display a message, like "Congratulations, you have passed." So, with the current value of marks being 85, the condition is true, and the code inside the curly braces will execute. As a result, the message "Congratulations, you have passed" will appear in the output. However, if you change the value of marks to 35, the condition is no longer met because 35 is not greater than or equal to 40. As a result, nothing will be displayed in the output, indicating that the condition was not satisfied. You can remove this code to continue with other examples. Let's take another example. Suppose you have a variable called isSunny, and you've set it to true. Now, you can use an if statement and place isSunny within the parentheses as the condition. Inside the if statement, you can use console.log to display a message like "The sun is shining." With isSunny having a value of true, the condition is correct, and the code after this will execute. As a result, you'll see the message "The sun is shining" in the output. However, if you change the value of isSunny to false, the condition is no longer true. In this case, nothing will appear in the output. Here's another example. Suppose you have two variables, one named username with the value user123, and another named password with the value pass456. Now, in the if condition, you can check if username is equal to user123. To ensure both conditions are true, use the and operator, and then add the second condition that password is equal to pass456. When you use the and operator between conditions, it requires both statements to be true. Write a message in the console log: "Login successful." In this case, both the statements are correct. It should display "login successful" in the output. However, if you change the username to something else, even if the password is still correct, one of the conditions is false. Consequently, it will not display the "login successful" message in the console. Now, let's explore another type of conditional statement called the if-else statement. The syntax is the same as the if statement, but with one key addition: at the end, include the else keyword followed by a block of statements. It operates by executing one set of statements when a condition is true and another block when it's false. In any situation, one block is executed and the other is skipped. In our current program, everything remains the same. All you need to do is include the else keyword at the end of the program and enclose a message within curly braces to indicate wrong username and password. When the program runs, it will display the else part in the console because the condition is not correct. Consequently, this program consists of two parts, one for "login successful" and the other for "wrong username and password." If the condition is true, the code following the if statement is executed. If the condition is false, the code within the else part is executed. In any scenario, only one block is executed while the other is skipped. Here's another example. Imagine you have a variable called number, and it holds the value 7. Now, you can use an if statement to check if the number modulus 2 is strictly equal to 0. In the if part, you can include a message like, the number is even. Conversely, in the else part, you can have a message that says, the number is odd. In the output, it is displaying the number is odd. Let's break down the condition. The modulus operation divides the number by 2 and checks if the remainder is 0. In this case, when we divide 7 by 2, we get a remainder of 1, which is not equal to 0. Consequently, this condition is false, and the else part will be executed. If I write 12 in place of 7, it will print even. Let's take one more example. Suppose you have a variable named age, and it's set to 16. Now, you can establish a condition, check if age is greater than or equal to 18. If the condition holds true, you can display a message saying, you are eligible to vote. However, if the condition is not correct, you can have an else part that says, you are not eligible to vote. Currently, in the output, you are seeing you are not eligible to vote because the age is 16, which is less than 18. Therefore, the condition is false, and the else part is executed. Now, let's change the value of age to 22. In this scenario, age is greater than 18, which is the correct condition. So, this time, you are eligible to vote is printed. Now, let's explore a different kind of conditional statement called if-else-if. This statement proves useful when you have multiple blocks of statements to select from based on various conditions. Within this conditional statement, the else-if section allows you to set additional conditions, much like the if statement. It becomes particularly handy in scenarios where numerous options exist, and you must decide which block of statements to execute based on specific conditions. Let's illustrate this with an example. Suppose you have a variable called number, and you've assigned it the value -7. Now, within an if statement, you can check if the number is greater than 0. In the if block, you can display a message like positive. Next, you can use else if and set the same condition as in the if statement, but this time, check if the number is less than 0. In this case, you should display negative. Lastly, you can include a message for 0 outside the if and else if blocks. If none of the previous conditions are met, it will display 0. In the output, it's currently displaying negative. This happens because the actual value of number is -7. First, it checks the condition number greater than 0, which is false. Then, it moves to the second condition, number is less than 0, which is true. Therefore, the code following this condition is executed. Now, if you change the value of number to 12, it will display positive, this time first condition is correct. Now, let's create a student grading program. Begin by defining a score variable and assign it a value of 75. In the first condition, check if the score is greater than or equal to 90. If so, award the students an A grade. Similarly, for scores greater than or equal to 80, assign a B grade. Students with scores of 70 and above will receive a C grade. Those with scores greater than or equal to 60 will earn a D grade. Lastly, if a student's score falls below 60, they will be assigned an F grade. Currently, the output displays a C grade because the score is greater than 70. However, if you change the score to 85, it should display a B grade. This is because the second condition is met, as the score is greater than 80 but less than 90. If you store the value 40, it won't match any of the conditions. When none of the conditions is met, the program proceeds to the final else part and displays F in the output. I've 3 practice programs for you as an assignment. You should solve these problems before proceeding further. Don't worry, in the next video, I'll demonstrate how to create these programs. Problem 1. Create a program that checks whether the character stored in a variable is a vowel or not. Solve it using the if-else statement. Problem 2. Develop a program that determines and displays the maximum number from 3 given numbers. Solve it by if-else-if statement. Problem 3. Build a program that can display the number of days in a month. The program should work for any month. Solve it by if-else-if statement. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I hope you enjoy the video. See you in the next one.